everybody, this is John Stocki for the Stocki Exchange. On this episode, we talk to two local distilleries where we talk about the local competitive market in the alcohol industry. We talk about joint marketing associations, and we talk about their retail presence in their tasting rooms. Also, you and 11 of your closest friends have a chance to win a free tour and tasting at Grand Traverse Distillery on this episode of the Stocki Exchange. Welcome to this episode of the Stocki Exchange. Today I am here with Kent and Chris from Grand Traverse Distillery and Traverse City Whiskey Company. Thank you guys for coming on the show.
Thank you.
So today we're going to be talking about marketing. We're going to be talking about how they market themselves as distillers, how to compete in a competitive market, such as the liquor industry. I'm sure it's insanely, every time you go to a liquor store, there's 25 new different kinds of someone up there to promote their own brand. Talk about social media, talk about how they're really leveraging any kind of marketing tools that they have to promote their product, grow, and expand. So thank you guys for coming. So we'll get right into it. As I said, alcohol market is super competitive. Every time you look at a print ad or some kind of TV ad, there's usually some kind of alcohol ad involved in almost every kind of TV show you watch these days. So just specifically locally, what are you guys doing? So we're in Traverse City, Michigan. What are you guys doing to really hone in on your competitive advantage to set you apart and continue the growth in your business? Kent, we'll start with you.
Well, different types of media, especially media that customers can send in reviews. There's different media like that where you get feedback. Those are all important. Small companies like us, I think probably both of us, we can't afford to go out with a $200,000 advertising campaign every time we come out with a new product. For us, it's the tasting rooms are very important. People can come in, they can meet us, they can try it. If they like it, they can buy it. And then they get on social media and tell people, and so it's all important.
Yeah, let other people do that marketing work for you.
Yeah.
Cool. Chris?
Yeah, in such a saturated industry with so much of the top-down marketing dollars from the big dogs, it pushes the small guys like us into a position where we just have to be crafty. And there's so many different media outlets, like Ken said, leveraging a broad spectrum versus targeting one individual channel. And it's got to be a consistent message.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I always harp on with marketing is marketing depth is better than marketing width. It's better to do 3 channels and just be awesome at them than try to do all 30 of them. We can't afford it. You don't have time. You don't have resources. And then you're only kind of just touching the top of each of those markets. So you're not really building those relationships. So depth is better than the width in terms of especially local marketing. Yep. And if you guys had a quick 200 grand lying around, maybe you might put it into a big TV campaign, but probably not. So a lot of industries, alcohol industries, are coming up with associations or membership organizations. So I know that Kent, you guys have just joined a local one that started here in Michigan. And locally we have 2 which are designated for wineries. We have Wineries of Old Michigan Peninsula and the Leelanau Peninsula Vintners Association. So what value do you find being a member of that organization, and would you recommend to join one, to not join one, and what are the big reasons that you guys have joined a group similar to that?
People are searching on the internet, especially if there are tours for things to do. And if we can get, like everybody knows Traverse City in Northwest Michigan does wine. And it's across the country they know about our wine now. The whole beer scene in Michigan's exploded. I think TC's got 13 brewers. Grand Rapids is beer city. The distillery industry is where beer was 25 years ago. So for us, trying to get an organization together where people can go to a site and start looking, rather than trying to find all of us individually, go to a site where you can see a list of, and it's okay, I'll be in that part of the state, next weekend. Well, maybe I should hit those 2 or 3 places. And for most people, they're going to find out that they had no idea how many distilleries there are out there. So it's a great marketing tool.
Yeah, so leveraging the digital resources to promote all of you together, and then everyone's going to benefit from it.
Yep.
Instead of trying to only promote yourself. So
No, it's,
more collaboration.
Yep, it's the rising tide theory.
Perfect.
Yeah, and one thing that is great about Michigan is that the state of Michigan has made a huge effort to support growth locally. So, the Pure Michigan campaign, I feel like recently they've been taking it to the next level and getting a big push to encourage these segments, whether it be breweries, the vineyards or wineries, cideries, distilleries, kind of creating a full spectrum like collaboration amongst everybody versus having distilleries where there's 4 of us up here, so we're kind of an afterthought for a lot of people. But now that we're gaining a larger audience, it's definitely helping put us into a position where we're becoming not the afterthought, but really the go-to.
One of the players for sure. I mean, the liquid culture in Michigan, massive. Like you said, we have 13 breweries just in Traverse City alone, with a year-round population. Well, Traverse City is what, 14,000. You add the extra area, you're somewhere around 100,000. 50 plus wineries in 2 counties. So like you said, we're definitely a nationwide player in terms of those alcohols. So like I said, if the distillers are catching up on that train, there's nothing better for you guys than more visual, more clients.
We definitely are. I think Michigan is, it was at 4 or 5 in the terms of registered DSPs.
Sure. Yep.
We're right up there. I mean, obviously it's Oregon, Washington, California. I think Colorado's pretty high, but Michigan's right behind it. And a lot of it changes because Lansing has definitely helped it be more of a friendly environment to come to the state and open up a distillery.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, the MEDC is doing really great things to help bring people in. Like you said, mentioned the Pure Michigan campaign. We're actually hoping to have Chad, who is the director of social media for the MEDC, to come in and talk about the success of the Pure Michigan campaign and what is destination marketing and how have they gained international exposure and success from, the amount of money that they've brought in from that Pure Michigan campaign is just mind-blowing. So I'm guessing we're all hoping to ride the wave of that success into the future and see how we can make it better and better as we keep going. So one thing you did mention is you're getting a lot of great traction from your tasting room, and Chris, you as well have your own tasting room now. So what part of your marketing mix do you really leverage that tasting room as getting your message out there? How much of your marketing mix do you think, all right, 40% of my marketing and efforts are going to go into making that tasting room awesome, because that's going to be that's my sounding board, that's my showpiece to let my message get out there to as many people as possible?
With us, it's probably 75% or more of our marketing. The problem that we all have is, if you're a young company in distillation, people need to try your product. And it's hard when you look at for $30 vodka or a $50 whiskey to buy that without trying it. And so how do you try it? I mean, we can do tastings now in stores and things, but that's brand new. We started expanding tasting rooms. It allows people to come in, try it. If they like it, they can purchase it. If they don't, that's fine.
So where are your tasting rooms at now?
2 in Traverse City at the Distillery and on Front Street. We have a seasonal one in Leland, Michigan. We were in Frankenmuth and Grand Rapids. So we're trying to spread out a little more downstate where people live, right, versus vacation up here. Yeah,
I mean, we definitely have, as you know, the tourist market here. The population goes from hero to zero from summertime to winter. So definitely getting those bigger mass market areas is going to get your message and your product out to more people consistently.
Yeah, winters are way too long. If you're living and dying on tourism, it's like January comes and it's like, oh no. Mm-hmm. So trying to get downstate a little bit.
Well, that's good. I mean, you're expanding the market. You're understanding that if you only want to live on the tourism market, stay in Traverse City. If you want to expand outside of it, you're going to have to move a little bit farther away. Yeah. Chris, and what are you guys doing with your tasting room?
We certainly have a pretty heavy investment in the tasting room, and in our push for tasting, unlike Kent, who is a more broad portfolio, we've segmented in the whiskey category. So a lot of our marketing is actually a game of education, and so having our equipment right there, as a visual piece, also helps preach the gospel of whiskey, and that P2P interaction between either a tour guide or a bartender directly with the consumer has been hugely beneficial, and it's something that we absolutely plan on continuing to invest in.
Well, if you guys haven't checked out either of their tasting rooms, I would highly, highly recommend it. Chris makes a mean old fashioned down there, and I'm sure I've tasted almost the full spectrum of everything that you guys have there. Not all at one time, because we wouldn't be able to walk out of there. But what do you think, if in a perfect world, what's the next revolution or the next big change that marketing might be able to help your industry go to the next level? Like you said, you're behind alcohol, or you're behind where brewers were 25 years ago. But obviously the speed at which marketing is happening these days is way faster than it was 25 years ago. We have the internet now. We have the ability to communicate to people immediately, globally. So what do you think is going to be the next big kind of revolution in the ability for you guys to spread your message or build your marketing network?
I watch now, and everybody lives on that little thing they have in the palm of their hand when they walk in the door, and it's their cell phone. To me, it's anything that you can do to have your company pop up when somebody does a search, that you can make it easy for people to know about you on your cell phone. And I think people roll into a town and what are we going to do? They do a quick search. And we ask people, how'd you hear about us? And a lot of it really does come down to it's social media.
Cool.
Yeah.
Chris?
So at this point, I'm thinking that the next wave of marketing, it is absolutely mobile. I think Ken's spot on with that. But I think above and beyond just mobile, I think that the more on-demand or immediate response via social media, and having the ability to almost in real time interact with the company or the brand to further engagement, it's where we're going. And we have a big push internally to make sure we get back to people sooner than later. And people always have just the simple questions that just need a quick answer, and having that almost on-demand support. I'd hate to say 24/7, but as we're younger, smaller companies, we need to have that advantage to stay competitive with the big boys.
It's massive. I mean, people's attention spans are nothing today. We'll pull up some statistics here on like how fast people need to respond, but I've read some crazy statistics about how fast people think they should be getting response from companies if they send them a tweet. It's mind-boggling. Facebook right now, if you run a business page, which I'm sure you both do, when you go to a company's page, under messages, it will tell you like responsiveness and how fast you are in terms of responding to people. And guests going to your Facebook page can see that, how fast do you normally respond to messages? They'll be able to see that, and they'll know you're reactive or responsive, and they're going to get an answer. So the days of picking up the cell phone and calling the customer service line is not really there anymore. People can send you a tweet and they expect a response very quickly. So like you said, being able to be as on demand with that as possible is awesome, but at the end of the day, it's also, can you keep up with that consistently? It's a really, really tough thing. So I definitely recommend for anyone watching at home, running a business, keeping up to date. I think that's where the biggest challenge is with trying to manage social media. And that's when I say going deeper in social media rather than wide. If you're trying to respond to 15, 20 different social media networks 24 hours a day, it's impossible. You can't even look at them all and interact with them, let alone be responding to everyone and interacting. So nail down that, be really great in a couple of them and build those relationships and use each network. And then as you get more resources and you grow and expand, then you can grow and expand your markets and see what your target market is using. For you guys, you probably wouldn't use some social media channels because it's Pinterest. Maybe you would, maybe you don't. Learn who the target market is and then learn how to pitch to those people. And learning the difference between content and context is huge. So it's not just blast the same message out over every single social media channel the same way. It's learning how do people read and respond to information on Pinterest different than they do on Instagram and different than they do on Facebook. It's learning those kind of motions and responsiveness to how people receive information. So content versus context, I think, is a massive benefit to anyone doing it well.
I learned something. I had no idea that capability is there for looking at. TripAdvisor, I try to get everyone within days. Some of the other things you mentioned, it's I'll have to take a look and see
Yeah,
what
I
we're
mean,
doing.
it's endless. I mean, Facebook leaves you reviews now. You leave your Google reviews are very important because it's a Google product. So obviously, in terms of your search visibility, if you're not participating with Google products, they don't like it when you don't do that. So you got to play their game and make sure that you're keeping an eye on all those things, responding as fast as you can. TripAdvisor, Yelp. I mean, I just went to Chicago a couple weeks ago. You just walk down the street, you open up Yelp, and you say, find restaurants near me, and it pulls it up, and then you can read review. Like every time I walk down the street in Traverse City in the summer now, it's someone is glued to their cell phone looking up something and going, oh, it's over there. So like you said, mobile first mentality is massive. So everything that you're doing from your social media distribution needs to have a mobile first mentality, and same thing for your web presence, your website, your listings, your TripAdvisor reviews, your Yelp, making sure those things are optimized for mobile first. Especially in a tourism destination, is massively important. So what steps are you guys taking to really grab hold of that mobile first mentality in terms of your marketing?
Not enough.
We're a little behind at this point, and it's one of our current exercises is actually pushing our website to be mobile friendly. A little behind the times. It's I think, what is it, a month or two from now, Google's going to stop sharing your page at a higher point on the search results if you're not mobile friendly.
So in April they already did that.
Okay.
They're launching out a plan where if your website is not mobile friendly, they'll start demeriting your rankings.
Your search.
If you look on your cell phone, when you do a search, right underneath the name of your link to your page, it will have a little thing there that will say mobile friendly. So before you click on that link, that the next page that you're about to go to should work well and function well on your cell phone. And if it's not, Google's going to continue putting you lower and lower and lower. Mobile searches have overtaken desktop searches. They're understanding the trend. They know how do you want to receive information. And a crappy old website that you have to zoom and pan and the links are tiny. We'll throw up a link now on screen that gives you, it's a mobile-friendly tester. Google puts it out there. You go to this website, you type in your URL, so StockiExchange.com, and it will tell you if your site's mobile-friendly, and it'll tell you what's wrong with it if it's not mobile-friendly. I definitely recommend anyone who has a company, go there, pipe your website in. If it's not mobile-friendly, call me, call a web supplier. You got to get with it because Google is hurting you, definitely, and you gotta be there. You gotta be mobile-friendly. So. Don't miss a single episode of the Stocki Exchange Show. Visit the Stocki Exchange Facebook page, like our page, hover over the like button, and click Get Notifications and See First to never miss out on a show or post. So this is the part of the show where we move into one-word answers. So I'm going to ask these guys one question, and they can answer with one word. It never works out. They always blah, blah, blah. I'm going to try to hold it down to one word here. So what is your favorite non-distilled beverage to drink?
Beer.
Hesitation.
He took mine. Non-distilled beverage, an IPA. More specific kind of beer. Oh yeah,
fantastic. And what's your favorite beer?
Oh God,
it's hard to nail down to one.
It depends on the season. This summer it's a session beer, a little bit lower alcohol, so I can keep going all day because I'm getting a little bit older.
Love sessions. All day IPA. It's the best combination.
Yep, and it comes in cans for the boat.
Exactly. So they just released Oberon from barrels in 12-ounce cans now too, instead of the 16-ounce cans.
I haven't seen that one yet.
So it's wonderful.
Evolution.
Love it. So now's the time where you guys can ask me some questions about marketing. It's glad that I've been able to tell you a couple of things you don't know. It's always exciting to get out there and try the new things. I can't even keep up with how fast things are moving, let alone every single business owner running their business. My job's to kind of try to stay on top of that stuff, and it's almost impossible for me to keep up with the pace of the changes and the latest and greatest. So I recommend you guys to pick a couple of things and be really good at it. That's what I'm doing as well. Choose a couple of things and be really awesome at those.
John, what do you see as the next wave of a marketing piece that's going to support growth for companies like ours?
I think you nailed it on the head with your ability to be like instantly responsive, and micro content for me is it's happening now in large companies, but your ability to respond in real time. I mean, Oreo is a perfect example of this. When the lights went out at the Super Bowl 2 years ago, they posted a little tweet with "You can still dunk in the dark." You know, that happened at 9:30 at night, where someone immediately made a little graphic, and it was up in 15 minutes. So that could either went really bad one way, or they could have went really good, but they took advantage of something that really happened. Now, that's very topical. That's a global wide thing. You guys on a local level, there's still a lot of local things that happen here, and you know, there's massive events and festivals and things happening around town. Your ability to capture that and piggyback on top of that with your message, but doing it subtly. People don't like to be talked at anymore. They want to be talked with. It's a conversation. Mm-hmm. It's fun. They don't want to be interrupted. So Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, they all make, there's teams and rooms of people sitting there designing how do their advertising platforms, that's how they make money now, everything's pretty much a pay to play these days. How do they make the user experience still enjoyable without interrupting them? You know, Facebook ads are in the news feed now. Tweets are just kind of promoted tweets. So it's nothing really like, no one likes pop-ups anymore, giant pop-up ads that you got to try to, where's the X? How do I get out of this thing? No one likes that anymore. It's not a good, fun experience. But they still have to have advertising money to keep their processes going. So I think being small, tiny pieces of digestible micro content, Snapchat, perfect, 8-10 second videos, people, fun thing happening. So you build that emotional connection to your brand through small pieces of micro content consistently over your few channels. You're nailing Facebook. The ads, they fit perfectly. It's got the perfect amount of text, a nice link, a great call to action. If you're using Snapchat, funny, interesting 10-second videos that people want to see. They're fun, they're hilarious. They can't wait for, you know, the next notification that you guys took a little 8-second video of, I don't know, mixing the grains, or you just released the newest flavor of vodka and you pour a few out. Like those types of things, instead of putting up a billboard that says 20% off booze at Traverse City Whiskey Company this week, we're realizing those types of things aren't very efficient anymore. They're not getting ROI. On the other hand, doing social media, it's sometimes difficult to track ROI as well, which I'm sure you guys have all run into. It's like, do we hire a full-time person to manage social media? How are we tracking if we're getting that money back? But if you play the long game with social media, it's not a fad anymore, which I'm sure you guys know. It's not going away. It's the way content's being distributed. So I think micro content is the way to go. It's a really long-winded answer. So.
And what do you see happening with Twitter?
I think Twitter is, as most sites are becoming more localized to content that's relevant to you. Used to be able to, if I liked, I don't know, Oreo's page, I get tons of blasted Oreo stuff, which is really big picture, everything there is to know about Oreo, and it's not so interesting. But how does Traverse City Whiskey Company affect me? Now that's where localized direct content from marketing is coming, and that's how Facebook, when you like a page, you only see certain things. The more you interact with that page, the more you'll see that information on your newsfeed. So they're learning how to feed you the information that you really want to see based on how you've interacted with their content in the past. What else did you ask? Twitter. Boom. So Twitter, same thing. It's becoming very localized, and the more you can create a connection with local users, the better that's going to be for you. Now, if you want to try to expand, it's tough. Twitter is as fast-paced and as instant as it can possibly get. It works really, really great for B2B. It's really great for business information. For you guys, I see it very great for things like brand presence, communicating education would be a great thing. Creating a blog series about, or a blog post series about the 10 greatest things about whiskey, release once a week and distribute them out, and tweet to other key stakeholders who are really relevant in the liquor game, who talk about it all the time, who educate. Use it as a big education platform. A sales platform, it's not going to work. but use it as a way to connect to people by educating them. People love to learn about things and the top 10 things, the top reasons to drink whiskey, those types of things. Use it as your distribution for an educational session. And then you start to grow, oh, well, these guys are always talking about, the best things about whiskey. They might know a few things about whiskey. Maybe I'll give their whiskey a try next time I go to the store and buy it. I think that's where it's almost a B2B mentality rather than a B2C consumer. Like, I'm not selling you, I'm offering value. And then those people are going to consume it, and then they're going to go, all right, well, he knows what he's talking about. He's an industry leader. Now I'll try his product. I think that's a good way that Twitter is going to help you. Traverse City, there's minimal users. You probably get a little traction if you're just trying to have conversations here in Traverse City. It's not very big. Breweries, on the other hand, since you have an app called Untapped, which I'm sure you guys know about, works really, really well, because if you check in on Untapped with a specific beer, you can automatically send it to Twitter. And that gains a lot of traction because people can see what beer you're trying and what brewery you're at, and it automatically puts at your Twitter handle, so it gains a little more interaction and traction that way. Any questions?
Yeah, I was wondering, how do you, or what do you recommend how do we tie into the visitors coming to this area for all the different festivals? I mean, we all know the Cherry Festival, we know about the Film Festival, but there's so many more, and there's festivals I don't even know about because they're outside of town and I'm not a part of it. But I kind of wonder if there's a way for us to get a hold of these people coming in town and try somehow with social media to say, hey, when you're in Traverse, or this is at least available to you.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think my number one recommendation would probably do that offline. I mean, event sponsorships is a great way to get in front of people. Everyone leaving and coming has to get a bag from you, has to get a card from you, has to get a, buy one, get one free tasting. Getting people while they're at their hotels with either small promo, get something that you put on every pillow of every bed for 1 month. You sponsor the hotel. I don't know, maybe you take their whole staff out for a free tasting, and then you guys can put your literature in every single room for a month during the summer. Try to get unique, fun ways to get people interactive. Social media, there's so much happening in the summer, and there's so much information. To be sure that they saw that one post that you talked about, the Cherry Festival, that's a supplemental item to capture a couple fish out of a very, very large pond. But your ability to get in front of those people where they're at while they're in town, ground marketing is going to be key. You have a spot right downtown, pay a high school kid, print out a ton of flyers. Their job is to walk up and down Front Street and hand out flyers to everyone walking up and down the street saying, whiskey tasting down the street. With old school method, it'll still work. You have people walking down the street, they're looking for things to do, they got money to spend. That's what they're down there for. So go down there, hand out flyers. It works. You can even incentivize the kids, write their name on the back of every flyer, and every flyer that gets turned in, they get paid $1.
Sure.
Find a nonprofit organization, a high school boys basketball team who wants to raise a little bit of money. You're selling alcohol. Pick and choose the organization maybe that you want to get associated with, or who might be good at it, but incentivize people to raise money that way. They're motivated to try to get as many people in there to help raise money for their cause. You're supporting a local community, and you're getting your message out there at the same time. It's like a trifecta of tradition, just really abusing traditional ground marketing. Social media, you can do promoted posts. You can go to the CVB, you can get all the zip codes from your biggest zip codes of people coming to Traverse City. They all report that to the hotels and then the Convention and Visitors Bureau, Traverse City Tourism. Now they get that information. Do specific advertised posts on Facebook specifically to those zip codes, because we have a mass amount of people coming from those areas to Traverse City.
Yeah,
it's not 100%, but using the best available knowledge that on there. If we get 500,000 visitors from Detroit every year, approximate age, who your target market is. You're probably not targeting 70-year-old females. Know your target market, hit right to their zip codes, slap it on Facebook. You can do a special offer if you want to. It depends on how you want to promote yourself, but I think that would be a good way to get out there. Ground marketing still works.
Yeah, that's good. The other one I had was you talked about going deep, not just social media. If you had to pick, I don't know, 3, 4 of the different media sites to really go deep with and really keep track of between someone in the company. Where do you go? Which ones do you think?
For just to say your company specifically, because everyone's company and how they market their brand presence or how they look and feel is a little bit different. But for you, I would definitely recommend you have to play with any Google product. You have to. Google Plus, it's there, but it's owned by Google, and the more you play with it, the better SEO ranking you get. So definitely staying there. Facebook is massive. You have your just a huge market demographic. Instagram for you, people are very visual. You'll see some of the biggest beverage companies doing really, really great things on Instagram. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. Look at what everyone else is doing. Tailor it to your market. Tailor it to your kind of corporate identity. Be consistent with it. People love photos and videos. So I would definitely invest in any kind of a videographer or a social media team who can come get that micro content for you and distribute it consistently on a constant basis. So we'll say Facebook, Instagram, any Google product. I mean, you can keep going from there depending on how many resources you have.
No, that would probably keep us busy.
I would definitely drill into that. I mean, take advantage of Instagram as much as you can. Soon, Instagram, this coming fall, maybe by the time this is aired, will already come out with their own advertising platform. Take advantage of that. It'll have a massive amount of reach and customization straight to your target market. So that'll be really, really great for brand presence and driving people into your doors locally.
Cool. Thank you.
Cool. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on the show. I hope it was a good time. Got awesome information from you guys. So today we're going to be giving away these two gentlemen. We give away some really exciting stuff. So Ken from Grand Traverse is going to be giving away a tour at the distillery for up to 12 people. It's about a 2-hour tour. And then Chris is going to be giving away a tour with some cocktails at his distillery for up to 6 people. And we're going to be giving those away online at the blog. So go to stockyexchange.com/blog right now. Pull up your phone. You all have one. Are you looking? Pull it up. Beep, 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 beep. stockyexchange.com/blog. We'll put up on the screen. Go there. All the show notes, all the social media channels for these guys. Connect with them. Try their products. Stop into the tasting rooms. We have some all over Michigan. Check out Chris's here in Traverse City. Try their products. Let me know what you guys think. And then sign up to win some of their tours to their fantastic facilities. It's going to be awesome. Check them out. Facebook, all their social media channels we'll have in the show notes. So thank you guys so much for coming on. Can't thank you enough.
Thank you.
If you guys have any questions, definitely we'll be in touch soon. And stay tuned for the next show. Other than that, we will see you guys later.